Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete. Wow, it's a mouthful of a name, isn't it? Silver Star Story Complete? What does that even mean? Well, I'll tell you. Lunar was first released in 1999 on the PlayStation 1 by Game Arts, the same Game Arts responsible for the Grandia series. However, this game is actually a remake of a 1993 game called Lunar, the Silver Star on the Sega CD, hence the Silver Star Story Complete. For those that don't know what the Sega CD is, it was an add-on to the Genesis to let you play games on a CD instead of cartridges. This meant that there was more room, and to fill up that room, every game was filled with full motion video. I'm not going to go into much detail as I never owned a Sega CD, and the Genesis I had was broken by dropping a power supply plug on it. I'll stick to what I know. Let's just say the 40 people who actually owned a Sega CD and the game quite liked it, so it was eventually ported to the PlayStation 1. This game hits every video game cliche and trope possible. But you have to remember, this game is ancient. Okay, it's not that old. The cliche and tropes you know today are based on games like these. Right as we begin, Alex goes into one of his monologues.
I don't remember when it started exactly, but the dream of having a fantastic adventure in far-off places grabbed my heart early and has yet to let go. You see, my hero is Dragon Master Dine.
I have to say, the voice acting for this game is good. It's more than just good. It's a higher level than other JRPGs of its time. The way the characters talk is natural, they have emotion. Most JRPGs at this time sound like they are reading off a script, although some characters have voices that can drive you insane after a while.
Alex, couldn't you hear me? I've been flying all over for the last half hour calling for you.
After a brief introduction to our main character Alex, we get thrown into a series of FMV cutscenes. While it may not look special nowadays, you have to remember, when the game first came out on the Sega CD, all the other RPGs were 8-bit or 16-bit console with cartridges. Having FMV was something new and exciting. Although the PlayStation version featured new, remade cutscenes, so they're actually much better than what it was before. It has at least aged well. What hasn't aged well is the rest of the game, unfortunately. Graphically, the game is bland. These graphics somehow look worse than a 16-bit SNES. How is that even possible? This is a game on the PlayStation. All the characters are these tiny, minuscule sprites on the screen. You have the entire screen to use. Why keep them at the size of a pebble? Not just that, the UI and the control has some very questionable design choices. What possible reason will you ever map the circle button to the save screen? The good thing is, you can save anywhere. The bad thing is, you can save anywhere. Most often I'm trying to speed through text when, whoops, I open the save menu. Cancelling options in the text box when, whoops, I open the save menu again. Even quitting out of the regular menu. Whoops, I open the save menu yet again. This begs the question, why can't they put the save menu in the regular menu like any other game? You have two buttons dedicated to opening the regular menu, select and square. You don't need a third one to open the save menu, do you? Even then, you open up the regular menu and you see three options. Have you seen a more barren menu? Two of these options can be removed entirely if they could just do one thing. Share the inventory of every character. I don't know why they feel the need for you to select a character, open their menu, click Give Item, then click a character to give it to them. Then switch to that character, click Use Item, and then click the item and then equip it. That's a lot of work to equip an item I just found. Even worse, when your inventory is full, you can't buy equipment at a shop to upgrade yourself. There may be the argument, combat is balanced around holding a limited amount of healing items. You don't understand, this is a design choice, not an oversight. Fine, that doesn't make it any less tedious. Let's move to the combat then. Again, you have the whole entire screen to use, and instead of making characters to fill up the space, you have these tiny sprites again. The menu covers up half the screen. Why are the buttons on the menu bigger than the sprites of the character? Shouldn't it be the other way around? You could use text or something. Even the original Tales of Fantasia with its massive menu covering half the battle screen, the sprites were big enough to fit its limited space, although some may argue too big. Here, when you or the enemy performs an action, we'll walk towards each other. This takes time. While each monster only takes a few seconds, it starts adding up. And the total time lost waiting for an enemy moving probably isn't that long. It's more that it's completely boring. Like, There's these long gaps where nothing is happening while you're waiting for you or the enemy to walk towards each other. While you do get AoE spells and attacks to hit multiple enemies at once, there are no way of recovering SP outside of very rare drops, limiting you to the most basic of attacks for the majority of the time. This makes the combat drag out even longer. It reminds me of turn-based tactics games, without any of the strategy or appeal. Most turn-based games, when you or enemies attack, it's instantaneous. Combat isn't interrupted because stuff is constantly happening. Let's take an example of the combat in a good game. Here, you have two sides blasting each other with magic, people getting hurt, you're healing your team. The boss is casting Flare, while the ATP bar is constantly scrolling. You're picking through a list of possible moves you can consider, and then people are dying, and then all this custom stuff just blasting the screen. Then you have this. No further comments necessary. The biggest insult of all this? Final Fantasy VI was made on the SNES half a decade before this game came out. For this game, you do get to travel around a lot. The world is big and somewhat interesting to learn. It's nice seeing a wide variety of areas to explore, but the design of these areas are exactly the same. Corridors. Every dungeon is a corridor with enemies running around. You don't actually have to fight enemies if you can avoid them, but most of them run faster than you or are just standing in the way of your path anyways. Running away from an enemy doesn't make it disappear. It still has collision. You're still trapped as they'll keep chasing you during the brief grace period after running from a battle. You really don't want to run from the enemies anyways, as the game requires you to grind constantly. Mostly specific levels to learn a new skill or spell before the next boss, or you'll be completely crushed. I'm actually okay with that. I like hard bosses. There has to be a reason why this game is very popular, right? Right. The story is great. It's a story about adventure. To drop everything in your life to go traveling and achieving your dreams with your friends at your side. You meet a wide cast of characters along your travel, each with their own personality and quirks. Here, Remus is the overly excited friend who wants to become rich overnight. He's a scaredy cat, but he's able to conquer his fear of, well, everything through the sheer willpower of gaining money. Then you have Nash here, who's basically a scrawny version of Johnny Bravo, with the comb included and everything. Then you meet the bad guys, who are so obviously bad, but expect the player to be surprised when they reveal their true colors. Let's just compare the introduction of a good character to the bad character.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I mistook you for a messenger of my mother's. My name is Mia Ausa. May I ask your name?
Present and future. I can foretell many things in the future. So, let's see your future. That's why you came to me today, isn't it?
Look at her. She looks evil. She sounds evil. She's oozing evilness. The villains, they don't have much motivation. They're mostly evil for the sake of being evil. Either way, your true love gets kidnapped on your adventure, and saving her conveniently also includes saving the world. While you are on a quest to become the Dragonborn. Wait, wrong game. You're actually on a quest to gather power from dragons to transform into the next Dragon Master.
Moon Prism Power!
Close enough. Like I said before, this is a very generic story you've heard hundreds of times in other games. But this is one of the ones that started it all. Does this give it an excuse? No, not really. The reason why some of us feel attachment to this game is our nostalgia. Would I ever recommend this game to anyone? No, not anyone outside of the most hardcore JRPG gamers. While the story is good, the rest of the game feels outdated. This game has aged considerably. Back then, this was an amazing game, but now our standards are higher. If you're looking for a game in a similar style, then check out the Grandia series by the same developers. The first one's a little hit or miss, but the second one is one of the best JRPGs out there. As long as Grandia exists, I cannot possibly recommend this game over that.
Luna! Luna, you have to come with us!
What?
Luna! All the exciting adventures in the world mean nothing if you're not with us. This isn't just my adventure, Luna. It's ours.
Oh, Alex, but what if...
There's no time to